Welcome to the Live the Experience podcast. Hi, my name is Lenny and I'm your host. Welcome back to the Live the Experience podcast. On today's episode, I'm talking to Celeste. Celeste went to Vietnam to do a volunteer project powered by AIESEC, and she is extremely interested in raising awareness for sustainability. So she decided to do a project on sustainable tourism. I find it extremely interesting how she dealt with having a lot of time pressure, only being 6 weeks in Vietnam and trying to make a difference in these 6 weeks, using her previous knowledge and experience, but then also what she took back to the Netherlands from the Vietnamese culture. Let's dive right into it. I hope you enjoyed and talk to you after the episode. Welcome to the show, Celeste.
Thank you.
I'm super excited to have you on today because not you only did a very interesting project in Vietnam, but it's also the first episode we are recording virtually. It's a lot of first times in the past weeks. Last time, the first episode I released from Buenos Aires, and today, the first one we are recording virtually. So super excited to see how this will turn out. Celeste, let's talk about your volunteering experience. Why did you decide to go abroad to do a voluntary project powered by AIESEC?
I wanted to go abroad and do a volunteer experience from the first moment that I started studying. I always had that as a kind of dream, because I wanted to live and experience a culture that was very different from the Netherlands, from the Dutch one. And I also just wanted to have that volunteer experience. It's always, it's a thing that that's something from out of my heart that I really wanted to do sometime in my life. And I thought during my study period, that would be a great fit. I didn't do it during my study though, for various reasons.
Any specific reason why you didn't do it, or just not the right time to do it?
I thought it was not the right time. I thought I might lose my focus on the courses that I did, and also it was a financial thing. I wanted to pay for it myself, and it wasn't possible at that time. Of course I could have arranged something with the university, but at that time I thought no, I just do it when I have saved all the money for myself, and then I make a big trip out of it, and not only an exchange for example 6 weeks, but then I do larger traveling, which I actually did in the end. So I'm happy the way I did it.
Why did you decide to go to Vietnam?
Actually, there are two reasons for that. The first one is that Vietnam as a country really appealed to me. From what I know, because I've never been there before, but I saw the nature is very beautiful there. The people, people said to me that the people there were very warm-hearted and very hardworking, nice people. The culture in general, very nice. It was an accessible country for me as a girl to go alone there. Asia in general, I think, is very accessible. And the other reason was that the project that my EP manager proposed to me was a project about content, online content, and sustainability. And those two things, I was really interested in, and I still am, and also fitted very well to the working experience I already had, and the direction of my studies, because I did a study in media and culture as a master's, and arts and cultural sciences as a bachelor. So it really fitted, and that project was in Vietnam. So that's why actually.
Explain a little bit more about what exactly your project was about and what it tried to tackle.
So the project was about promoting sustainable tourism And we did that through making online content in the first place, but also by organizing an event for the youth in a specific project a specific province in Vietnam. The province was Vung Tau, and Vung Tau is a province in the southern part of Vietnam that has a lot of potential when it comes to tourism. It's very beautiful. It's near the beach. There are a lot of chances to make it more attractive for tourists, but it's not sustainable.
How come, or what exactly? Elaborate a little bit. What exactly was not sustainable there?
Well, there is a lot of plastic waste in the first place, and the beaches near Vung Tau are very beautiful, but they're full with plastic waste, and it's not attractive for tourists to go to a beach where everywhere lies plastic. And also in the streets, you also notice that there's just a lot of waste everywhere. And I think the Vietnamese people, they're not aware of it in the first place, that it's a problem, and also that they don't know how to deal with it. And that is what we try to, I actually tried to raise awareness amongst that problem in the first place. And also we tried to get a connection with the youth, so with scholars in Vung Tau, to maybe think about that problem and maybe also think about solutions in the future, because of course the scholars
solve it,
the future. So
then you told me that a lot of people told you how people in Vietnam are, how beautiful this country is. What was your first impression when you first arrived at the airport in Vietnam?
It was very hot actually, because I arrived in Ho Chi Minh City, and that was the first thing I really noticed, that the air was very different from the Netherlands, and that it was very hot, and also that it was very crowded. I came to the airport, and a few of the Vietnamese AIESEC members were waiting for me there, and then we went by car to the city, to our hostel, and then it was so busy. I didn't know where to look. I was afraid because everywhere there were cars, everywhere there were people on the bikes, and I thought like, oh my God, I am going to die here maybe, because we're going to have a car accident. I never experienced this kind of traffic in my life. I was happy, of course, to be there, but I was very excited and I had a lot of adrenaline. I know that from that crowdedness in that place. So that was actually my first impression.
Did you get used to this over time?
Yes, very much actually. I was at the end of my trip, I was so surprised about myself, because people who have been to Vietnam, or people who have looked up maybe some videos about Vietnam, they know that only crossing the road is a very big challenge in Ho Chi Minh City and in the big cities in general. And at the end of my trip, I was just so relaxed with everything of that. And I never would have expected that I would be so relaxed with in this kind of situation. So I very much got used to it. Yeah, and I think that happened in maybe 2 weeks already. The first 2 weeks it was difficult for me, and I was afraid a lot to just walk outside.
You got used to the city and just observed all the things around you. But then get used to it. When coming back to your project, and then the reason you came to Vietnam, what challenge did you face doing this project of raising awareness about sustainability?
I did face some challenges. I think the biggest challenge would lie in the project setup. So the project consisted of 3 parts. The first part was making online content about sustainability to promote a more sustainable tourism. The second part was about making a marketing plan for organizing an event. But then in the end, we really had to organize that event, and that was something that wasn't really communicated before I started the project. And then we only had 6 weeks to do all of these things, and it's a lot to go through.
So it was a lot of time pressure.
Time pressure. Yeah, exactly. And the Vietnamese people, they are very motivated and they are very enthusiastic. And Yeah, they have a kind of mentality which I really admire, but I was like, okay, how are we going to fix all of this in only 6 weeks? And then also the thing was, there were like 20 hours per week that they told us that the project would take, but then in the end, yeah, we needed way more time for that. So yeah, that were
How did
sometimes
you try to?
challenges.
How did you deal with this challenge, and how did you try to overcome this challenge? Of probably because what I sense a little bit, it's a little bit like the expectations again were a little bit different than you expected
Yeah.
than you had at the beginning. But then, what was your reaction to that, and how did you try to overcome this challenge?
Yeah, well, normally in the normal life, I would be very stressed. And I would have like the negative thoughts, like, okay, we're not going to be able to fix this. What will we do now? We can't do it. So yeah, all kinds of those kind of thoughts. But now I thought like, no, I am in Vietnam also to enjoy, and it's just a volunteer project. I'm doing something good, and yeah, just go with the flow, because the Vietnamese people were also going with the flow, and they were just doing what they could, and they in the end they knew that their planning was too tight, and that they had yeah, that they should have changed the structure a little bit towards something that was more accessible in those 6 weeks. But still, they did everything they could, and they stayed positive, and they always smiled, and they just said like, no, we're going to work for this. And then I thought like, okay, well, then we're just going to do what we can. And yeah, and also of course I tried to bring my knowledge a little bit, and also try to change where we could change a little bit some things in the structure to make it more yeah, to give it less pressure and to give a good result in the little time that we had. But I also learned from their motivation and enthusiasm, and just work hard for all the things that we could arrange in this time. So
that's a really nice. I can really nice relate this to two of our leadership qualities we try to develop in responsible leaders, right? Being self-aware and being solution-orientated. You are faced with the challenge, but then you try to solve it. You brought in your own knowledge, your own experience, and maybe try to adapt the schedule a bit of the project, and just try to work with work with the situation. And I love how you say, just go with the flow and just try to see, okay, what can we do now here? How can we improve the situation?
Mm-hmm.
But then, what did it taught this moment? What did it taught it about yourself?
Yeah, that I sometimes should focus more on the positive side of things, because I know already that I am a person who works hard, but I always focus on the things that I think will not work out, or that I didn't do well enough. And sometimes it's out of your hands. Sometimes it's not something you can control. And in this case, it wasn't something I really could control, but I could do the best I can to make it as good as possible. And that is something I took from that project in the rest of my life. And in the rest of the things I do now in daily life in the Netherlands. Just to go with the flow a little bit more, and worry less about what could go wrong, and focus on the things that could go right. And therewith, I also create more chances for myself, because things that I didn't dare in the past, I do dare now. So I think that is a lot of personal growth in that sense.
Yeah. You mentioned how impressed you were by the ambition of the Vietnamese people and the way of approaching this project. Did you take anything of these qualities back to the Netherlands?
Yeah, also because I think a lot about them, actually, how they are and how they deal with things, and how positive they always were. And I also try to be that, because in the end, all the negative thoughts you have indirectly will only have the outcome that there will happen negative things. And if you just try to see the positive side of things, I think more positive things will come to you as well. And that happened in Vietnam, and that does happen now. And of course, it's not only out of this project that I learned that, but it was a big reminder to me that
it's again just self-awareness, right? You became more self-aware about it again.
Yeah.
Not 100% because you've had other experiences, but it's just one contributor to your whole journey.
Yeah, that is what really the Vietnamese students and scholars learned me, because what I actually saw in their daily behavior. That I just took with me as a very positive thing. And that is also something that made me smile a lot during that project, just how they were and how happy they were. So, yeah.
Do you think you had impact on people or on someone during the project, or you made a difference?
Yeah, well, impact is a big word, I always think. I will never say that I have like large impact on large part of society or Vietnam as a country, but the people that I worked with in Vietnam, I think I have made them more aware about sustainability, because I know that in the Netherlands, people are very responsible already. They are dealing with, they behave more sustainable, and it's very easy to do that because we get a lot of education on it. And the Netherlands is a very sustainable country already. And for Vietnamese people, that is not common sense. That is not something that they know a lot about. And through the knowledge that I already had, but also through the learnings that I had during the project about sustainability and things like that, I think I could raise the awareness a little bit more. And also because we had this Instagram account that we set up, Wonders with Purpose, about the beautiful tourism spots in Vung Tau and other parts of Vietnam, and also to focus on sustainability in that account. So to give tips about sustainability, to tell something that has to do with the environment of Vietnam, always in a positive sense, but I think it did learn.
With the ambition to not only raise awareness for the local youth, for example, in Vung Tau, but also raise awareness for tourists. Vietnam, I mean, huge, like very popular for backpackers, right? And in general, Southeast Asia. So always having this ambition in mind to continue raising awareness. I really like it. And I will link your Instagram account in the show notes so people can check it out, and maybe someone wants to go to Vietnam and then takes your advice.
We also shared some hotspots, so that's always nice to look up, I think, if you want to go to Vung Tau.
Looking at your whole experience and taking your whole experience, and also the decision to go abroad, to do a voluntary project, to leave the Netherlands, your country, how did stepping out of your comfort zone help you to grow during the project and afterwards?
As I said before about the insecurities and stressing about what could happen, or what if this happens, or what if that happens. Those negative things, I don't focus a lot on them anymore. And also, I think that is a lot of personal growth for me in that aspect. And also, I can get things more in perspective now. So I appreciate a little bit more what I have here in the Netherlands, because there are a lot of chances that we have here in the Netherlands, also when it comes to studying and work and things that the Vietnamese people will not have, at least not in the next 50 years maybe. And of course I am aware of that, but now I'm especially aware of that, and I appreciate it a little bit more. And then especially when you look at how the Vietnamese people behave, that they are so positive and so motivated, and then I think like, okay, I should also be more motivated in my life, because I should be happy with how I can live and that I can do the study I want, and stuff like that. So I'm just more happy. And for me, that's a very important thing when it comes to personal growth, because I tend to focus on negative things. I know that for myself. And I'm not doing that so much anymore.
It just makes you to realize again more, or shift the focus a little bit from negative to more positive feelings. And I'm not a fan of saying, "Oh, be positive, but
No, me
I'm like
neither.
your approach. I like your approach when you say, no, it's just about shifting the focus a little bit, because we
Yeah,
all have happy and positive and negative feelings, but maybe you probably tended to focus a lot on the negative and
yeah,
sort of did not really pay attention to the positive side of your feelings and growth you had, and then
yeah.
just it
That's true.
helped
It's
you to
just the
shift it a bit.
mindset. Yeah. Exactly, exactly. And one other thing is just daring things, daring to do what you really, really want, and not thinking that, oh, it's maybe stupid, or oh, maybe other people won't appreciate when I do this, or
Yeah.
just following your own path. It's okay. I mean that, and I always tended to be very rational in it. So yeah, I have to go to school. I have to get good grades. I shouldn't go maybe on holiday, or I shouldn't go out because I have to learn for my exam. And oh, if I am done with high school, I really should study right away, and I should finish my study. And afterwards, I have to travel, not during my study. Like always very strict.
Yeah.
And now I really let loose of that thought. So that's
Take a
also,
little bit more perspective of
yeah,
also what you really want to do. That's
yeah.
really nice. Um, I would like to end this episode with reasons, or why do you think that more students or young people our age, should go through such an experience abroad, and maybe volunteer or do an internship in a startup in a completely different culture?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Because yeah, of course, I cannot speak for all of the volunteer experience, because there are so many different projects, there are so many different countries, and of course, you can also end up in a country that really doesn't fit with how you are as a person, and then it could be a whole different experience. But for me personally, I think that yeah, the way that you step out of your comfort zone, the way that you meet a lot of people that you would otherwise have never met, and also that you, yeah, you do things that you would otherwise never do. I think in the volunteer projects in your life, it's really a different dimension of living. I don't know if I put it in the right way now,
Different,
but
like it. I feel like it accelerated your personal growth, right, and helped to shift your perspective.
yeah, yeah. And I think that for everyone, that will be something that makes you grow as a person. And if it is a negative experience, you will also grow from it. But I think for 80% of the people that will go to join an AIESEC project, it will be a very positive experience, because the vibe of also the AIESEC board in general is so good and so positive, that also if there are things that you actually don't like to do, or that you actually think like, okay, is this something I want to do? Then and then they convince you to do it, and then you're actually very happy that you done it, and then yeah,
Like
it makes
you got pushed out of your comfort zone, huh?
yeah, they really do that, and I think that is something that in the end, yeah, you will be very happy about. And I take this project is for me something when I feel sad, or when there's something that I think like, oh, I am in a period now that I don't feel very happy. Then I think about that project, and I think like, no, it was such a nice experience, and I have so many funny memories and nice memories from it. Then it makes me happy again. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's beautiful. I'm very glad to hear that, and to see the impact, but also the change of perspective this project had for you, and how rational you can think about it, and always also keep it in the back of your mind, and get this feeling back, and remember this experience and what it taught you, and how it helped you to grow, and now how it set you off to continue your life and continue growing. Celeste,
Yeah.
thank you very much for joining me today for on this show.
Yeah. Thank you as well.
I'm super excited to do these recordings now. With this is my grandma could say this, but like this technology makes it so easy to still talk to people all around the world.
Yeah, to make the connection from literally, and yeah, it's really cool. that I
It's
can talk to
exciting.
you from Buenos Aires. No,
All right. Thank you very much
thank you.
for joining, and all the best for the future for whatever you're up to.
Yeah, thank you. You too.
I really enjoy talking to Celeste, and I love how she's reflecting on the whole experience and realized how stepping out of her comfort zone helped her to shift the perspective on positive and negative thoughts a bit. You can check her Instagram account in the show notes, and also the Instagram account she created while she was on the project. If you're feeling like going to Vietnam or just reading up a little bit on sustainable tourism. If you're curious what an AIESEC experience could look like for you, make sure to contact your local AIESEC office or just sign up on AIESEC.org and let them get in touch with you. And again, if you have any questions, if you have feedback for me or thoughts you want to share with me, please contact me. As always, you can find all links in the show notes. If you like this podcast, please rate it and share it with your friends and your family. That would really mean a lot to me. Have a great day and talk to you next episode.